Jim, Sharon, Caroline og Andrea med efternavnet Corrs voksede op i Dundalk, en lille by på den irske østkyst, lige syd for grænsen til Nordirland. De voksede op i meget musikalske omgivelser. Deres forældre havde et lille lokalt band, og den ældste af dem, Jim, fik undertiden lov til at være med i det her band. Alt imens han gik og drømte om at lave et band sammen med sine søskende. De skulle lige blive voksne først og afslutte deres skolegang. Det skete så i 1991. Og i 95 udgav de deres første album, Forgiven Not Forgotten, som blev en stor succes lige fra Danmark til Australien. Og dermed blev de opvarmning for Celine Dion på en verdensturné, og de oplevede rundt omkring endda at slå hende af førstepladsen på hitlisterne. That the Corrs siblings are very musical. Is it something you inherited from your parents?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think they're very musical. So we kind of grew up playing, and they taught us a lot. Musically.
Did your parents perform?
Mm-hmm. They did, yeah. They performed, they basically worked on a semi-professional level. They played in local clubs and pubs at the weekend, Thursday to Sunday, and did a lot of covers, did other people's music.
And you joined them, I read somewhere.
Jim did.
Yeah, that's right. I played with them on I think it was Friday and Saturday nights, because I would have had school then on the Monday for a couple of years, yeah.
Being somewhat older than your sisters, you'd have to wait for them to grow up. What did you do in the meantime?
I worked as a session musician, worked with lots of different bands. I studied music. I did everything. I worked in pubs, I worked in clubs, I worked in the supermarket, lots of different stuff, but mainly I concentrated on gaining as much experience as I could musically.
The girl's a fool, she broke the rules, she hurt him hard. This time he will break down. She's lost his trust, and so she must know all is lost. The system has broke down. Romance has broke down. This boy is cracking up. This boy has broken down. This boy is cracking up. This boy has broke down. She plays it hard, she plays it tough.
Of Dublin. What kind of town is Dundalk?
It's actually the largest town in Ireland, but I suppose by worldly standards it's pretty small. It's a population of about 35,000 people. It's very close to the sea. It's very close to a small mountainous region. Very, very nice town to grow up. We're just south of the border, so we escaped an awful lot of the troubles. Though we were close enough to hear explosions going off on occasions. But all in all, it is a very, very nice place, and the people are very, very friendly.
I've been spending my money in the old town. It's not the same, honey, with you not around. I've been spending my time in the old town. I sure miss you, honey, now you're not around. Now you're not around this old town.
In 1990, the casting auditions for the Alan Parker movie, The Commitments, took place in Dublin. And you went to the auditions. Mm-hmm. What happened?
Well, it was a pretty significant day for us because it was the first time we'd ever performed on stage as a band. And the idea came from who then became our manager, John Hughes, who Jim knew and had met and was recording at the time.
And he said that we should go because it was an open audition in Dublin, and I think absolutely everybody turned up, you know. So we did that, and we had, like, you know, the smallest roles possible in the movie, and then Andrew had a more significant role in it. But the main point of the commitments was that we actually got a publishing deal out of it, and that enabled us basically not to have to take on other jobs except maybe weekend jobs, and to be able to have money to focus on writing and recording our own music. We were playing in a small gig in Dublin, and actually the guy who wrote the music to Riverdance, Bill Whelan, you know the Riverdance, everybody does now. Probably the biggest success story from Ireland ever. He knew Jean Kennedy Smith personally, and he invited her along to a gig. And I mean, to be honest, it was pretty wild to think of, you know, JFK's sister in a small pub in Dublin at a gig. But she came along and she asked us to play in the John F. Kennedy Library in Boston. It was, I suppose, to celebrate the beginning of the World Cup, and also there were a lot of, Taoiseach was over there at the time, and a lot of the Kennedy family. So we did that, but it was really a means for us to be in America and to start looking for a record deal. And I think 2 weeks after we did that performance, we actually managed to secure a record deal.
Yeah, you met with David Foster.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of a funny way you met with him.
Yeah.
You waited for him.
Yeah, well, we, yeah, it was like one of the last days of this 2 weeks, and we took on our, we were doing a showcase, it's quite a while ago, I'm just trying to remember.
10 years
We were
ago?
doing a showcase outside, we were doing a showcase in New York for some record company, and our manager had been, we'd met with a guy called Jason Flom in Atlantic Records, and he was blown away by our music, and he says, you know, I'd really love you to meet David Foster. But David at that time was recording Michael Jackson in the Hit Factory in New York. And so, yeah, history album. And so it seemed kind of impossible that we'd be able to set up a date, but we left it at that, and hopefully the guy would work on it, us meeting him. Anyway, we were in New York this day, and we're doing another showcase for some other record company. And when we finish it, our manager says, you know, we're really close to the Hit Factory, let's just go there. So we went, and we was dressed all in black, stiflingly hot day. This is all we had. And with all our instruments, and went round to the Hit Factory, got through the security guards, God knows how, they were Michael Jacksons, you know, and got through them and said, we're here to see David Foster. And through that kind of brass neck, got to meet him, got to play for him. He loved it, and that got us the record deal really with Atlantic Records. When we did release the album, I think the first place it took off was Australia, and Denmark and Ireland took off at the same time. And it depends, other markets didn't take off as quickly. Like in Great Britain, we weren't, you know, successful until the last album. I think the secret, it really depends on the country and what they're listening to on the radio at the time. I think we were quite refreshing, and I think in some countries the playlists on radios are not so restricted, where they have to have, you know, adult contemporary or top 40. They can have a lot of different things, and I think in Denmark you have that, and I think also in Australia where they just play what they like. So I think it was also maybe the traditional Irish influence as well that people really took to, because it's a very heartfelt music, and it's it brings you back to your roots. And I think everybody, even though it's Irish, everybody can really relate to it. And it's very optimistic and uplifting. So I think maybe that could be it.
In '97, your breakthrough in Great Britain came with Talking Corrs. Was it because of your... I've read something about a fantastic concert in Royal Albert Hall. Yeah. Was it because of that? Was it part of the...
It's a few things I think did it for there. That was a St. Patrick's night, and it was a perfect opportunity for BBC to broadcast. Just before that, it would have been hard for us to get a concert fully broadcasted. And because it was St. Patrick's night and it was an Irish band, it was the night for us, and it was just a huge, huge success. And then straight after that we had, it was also that night Mick Fleet would come up on stage with us and play Dreams. And also Dreams suddenly got added to Radio 1, and all the radio stations picked up on it, and just suddenly it was a top 10 hit. And it was a lot of contributing factors, and then more singles after that really did it for us in England.
And then you gave 6 sold-out concerts at Wembley Stadium.
Did more than
11.
that. Did 11.
You did?
11, yeah.
I see. Had you ever expected such a success? Was it a surprise to you?
Well, it was certainly elusive for a long time with Britain. I mean, it was quite a big frustration, it being our neighbour, you know, that it was one place that just we weren't known. So to play that many gigs, because performing is we really love doing that, and we really, to get up there and play your music, you know, and express yourself in that way to an audience that knows you is just brilliant. It's just the best feeling of why you do the job you do. And so to be playing all those gigs in Britain was a record-breaking tour that we did around Britain. You know, it was fantastic.
You bored me with your stories. I can't believe that I endured you for as long as I did. I'm happy it's over. I'm only sorry that I didn't make the move before you. And when you go, I will remember. Just send a thank you note to that girl. I see she's holding you so tender. Well, I just wanna say, I never really loved you anyway. I know I didn't love you anyway. I never really loved you anyway. I'm so glad you're moving away, Valentine. And when you go, I will remember. I must remember to say, I never really loved you anyway. Never really loved you anyway. I know I didn't love you anyway. Never truly loved you anyway. I'm so happy you're moving away. Yeah, I'm delighted you're moving away. Yeah.
As far as America is concerned, we've done very, very well. We've laid very, very good foundations, and in fact, our last album went gold there. We'd still like to do a little bit better, of course, and so we'll concentrate a little bit more on the US of A this time.
Yes. You think this album in blue will do it? Will give you...
Well, we can only hope. I think that possibly, we've been told anyway, that some of the songs on the album should suit the American market, and so it's a question of fingers crossed, I suppose.
Go on, go
wrote it and recorded it at home in Ireland. And I think that gave us a certain freedom with it. Because it's quite difficult when you're recording elsewhere and you're always missing home. You know, because we spend a lot of time touring. And then when you finish touring and you go to start writing an album and you're still away, it's quite difficult. I just think it was a very, very natural process, and we really enjoyed it. The songs came very naturally and very heartfelt, and we really just enjoyed the whole process this time, because it wasn't... We were able to get out of each other's hair a little bit more. We were able to just be in the studio, bring in a new song. Everybody would like it. We'd record it, and then you could leave and go home and have dinner or go out with your friends, and we'd have weekends, and we could just do normal things, which was nice. I think there's also a culmination of all our experience over the last few years on this album. I think it's maybe a more mature album. I think it's definitely a more mature album for us. We're just getting better at what we do.
You have dedicated this album to your late mother, who tragically passed away some months ago, and I believe one of the songs was written as a comfort to your father.
Yeah, that's a song called it's called No More Cry, and really it's just kind of, I mean, that whole experience is very much reflected, I think, throughout the album. But No More Cry is really to uplift him, and it's also personal as well. You know, it's both. It's kind of a rebellion against the pain of it all, you know, and just stop it, that kind of thing. You know, that's what it's about.
You write most of the lyrics. Are some of them, just like No More Cry, autobiographical, or are they completely out of your imagination?
I think that I personally, I mean, we all have written lyrics, but I think I personally on this album have been more honest than I've ever been, and which does leave you slightly vulnerable. But hey, we all have the same feelings, so you know, I think it is, yeah, at times.
When the daylight's gone and you're on your own and you need a friend just to be around, I will comfort you. I will take your hand and I'll pull you through. I will understand, and you know that I'll be at your side. There's no need to worry. Together we'll survive through the haste and hurry. I'll be at your side if you feel like you're alone and you've nowhere to turn. I'll be at your side. If life's standing still and your soul's confused and you cannot find what road to choose, if you make mistakes, you can't let me down. I will still believe. I won't turn around, and you know that I'll be at your side. There's no need to worry. Together we'll survive through the haste and hurry. I'll be at your side if you feel like you're alone and you've nowhere to turn. I'll be at your side. I'll be at your side. I'll be at your side. That I'll be at your side. There's no need to worry. Together we'll survive through the haste and hurry. I'll be at your side if you feel like you're alone. You've got somewhere to go, 'cause I'm right there. I'll be at your side. I'll be right there for you. The wheels of life, through the haste and hurry. I'll be at your side if you feel like you're alone. You've got somewhere to go, 'cause I'm at your side. I'll be right there for you.
We had this fantastic, absolutely brilliant violin teacher in Dundalk, and indeed he has violinists all over the world, working in Vienna and working in, you know, in the Berkeley School, Juilliard School, and so many. So he was great, and I think at the time there was this this idea in Japan that you would start teaching kids from the age of 3, which I think is very impractical. I mean, you know what, you know, you can't teach 3-year-olds really, you know. So they actually started Caroline off in the violin because she was 3, but she was far too interested in how big his ears were and what colour his hair was and why his hands were old and all that sort of thing. So, and then she just would be going to the toilet and stuff, and just, you know, it wasn't the best. So then my parents sent me to him, and then I kept it up, and he was a truly wonderful teacher. Lovely man, he was a parish priest, very gifted.
And I've read you only missed one lesson in your whole life.
I know, that's funny, yeah. I was going through my teenage rebellious stage, and yeah, and all my friends, I used to have a lesson on a Saturday afternoon. Saturday afternoon was kind of where you hang out with your friends and look at the boys and stuff like that. And so I got a bit sick of it, so instead of going to my lesson, I went into town one day. So I came home and Mum and Dad said to me, so how was your lesson? And I just knew, they knew I wasn't at it, so I just told them I wasn't at it. But it was cool, you know.
Your middle name, Helga.
Oh my God, how do you know all this stuff?
It doesn't sound very Irish.
I don't know where my parents got that name from. I mean, I've often asked them about that, and they didn't have much of an explanation. I think it reminds me of some sort of dairy maid or something. But it's a Scandinavian name. So every time I go through passport control when I'm in Scandinavia, they all look at me and go, Helga, you know, you're Irish. So yeah, it's a strange one, perhaps.
Yeah, it's always great to close that door behind when you go into your room. I mean, that's the thing, that's the sacrifice that you make, you know, and it's the same for any band, not just a family. Of course, it's unusual for us, the fact that we're still together, you know, all this time, working, you know, 24 hours a day, nearly 7 days a week. So it's tough, but it is very tough for any band, and that's the sacrifice that you make. And to have success, you have to be prepared to work very hard and to put up with the
boyfriend of mine, who lived next door to where we actually were set up to kind of do our demos, recording our demos. There was a boyfriend that lived next door, and we were going out for about a year or something like that, and he played the drums, and he was mad into U2. I mean, he had posters of U2 all over his walls, and he loved Larry Mullen. And he had a drum kit, and he taught me my first beat, and then from then on I started playing more. And then the guys came in one day, they came in and they heard me play, and they said, oh God, you know, this would be really great for the band, you know. And I went, okay. And so I ended up being the drummer. So
do you still play the piano?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you play this Irish instrument, the bodhrán?
The bodhrán. Mm-hmm.
What kind of an instrument is it?
Well, that's a purely Irish traditional instrument, and it's made of goat skin, and you play it with a stick. And it's, you know, you see them an awful lot in traditional sessions in Ireland, that they're really well known, and they really add a very traditional ethnic sound to the music. So we use it on our songs as well. I mean, if your ear is tuned into that kind of sound, you'll hear it on the songs as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have a favourite song called Forgiven Not Forgotten. I wonder, could you do just a couple of lines from that?
Certainly.
Okay.
Yeah, forgiven.
But then you'll find out that we don't sing any of our music. And why would we do that?
You're forgiven, not forgotten. You're forgiven, not forgotten. You're not forgotten.
You sucked.
That was terrible.